one more short story. Hello, and thank you for listening to One More Short Story with me, Chris Fulwell. I'm excited to launch this podcast. It's going to showcase a whole bunch of stories from the world of writing battle. Now, I imagine if you're listening to this, you probably already know what writing battle is, but just in case you don't, if you've shared it with your significant other or your unwilling friends and relatives or your very, very willing friends and relatives, anyone who's listening to this, writing battle, which is my favourite of all the writing competitions that I do, we get assigned some random prompts and have to knock up a story anywhere, 2026 now, so anywhere between 100 words and 2,500 words under some time pressure, and then we compete. Not in a literal battle. No one's been stabbed yet, I don't think. Max will tell me if I'm wrong on that one. But there have been some awesome stories to come out of writing battle. Way too many to read every single one, although I know some people out there have tried. The aim of this podcast is to showcase a variety of stories. So not just the winners. The winners are awesome. I always enjoy reading the winning stories at the end of the battles. But there are some great stories that get knocked out at some point during the knockout stages in the final showdown. I'm not just saying this because some of my stories haven't made it out of the house stage. There are some excellent stories that don't make it past the threshold for getting out of the house stage. And that's okay. It's a competition. At the end of the day, each genre can only have one winner, right? But I think we should be celebrating and enjoying as many stories as we can. And part of that, I hope, can be achieved through sharing this podcast with you good people. My name's Chris Fulwell. If you're on Writing Battle, you'll recognise me as C.A. Fulwell, the one with a face for the radio. I live in the south of England with my wife and my two wonderful kids, but this is not a job interview or a bio for one of my submissions, so we will crack straight on. Some of the stories are going to be narrated by me, but absolutely not all of them. We've got some fantastic narrators out there in the community. We've got two pieces of flash fiction that are 1,000 words long, and the reason I've put these two together in this episode is they both deal with the future. Now, I'm not going to say too much more now. They're very, very different. They're both excellent stories, and I'm looking forward to getting into them with you. Now, the first story we're going to go with is Victor Cabinta's Between Two Moons. Now, this was in the 2025. This was back in the winter 2025 battle, and it was in the time travel romance genre, which produced an amazing array of stories, as you can probably guess. If you were around for that battle, it was a good one, that genre. And Victor had time travel romance, dancer, and dice as his prompts. Now, if you know Victor, he is something of a dancer himself. Check out his Instagram, you'll see what I mean. Great writer, great dancer, amusing human being, and also a feedback panda, because the man produces thousands and thousands of words of feedback on people's stories. Now, Victor's prose in this one is really, really lovely, and if you haven't read it before, well, I hope you enjoy it. I certainly have. This is Between Two Moons by Victor Cabinta. I didn't believe in fate. To me, destiny was just a word people used to explain what they couldn't control, surrendering instead of forging their own path. But then the dice turned my world inside out. They never gave me a choice. I found them atop a crate of antique relics from the underground market, small, smooth from centuries of touch, their symbols indecipherable. A fine relic, ancient and rare, few know its worth, the merchant said. I was sold. The first time I rolled them, I was alone in my studio in New Athens, 2135, drenched in sweat after a 3-hour VR dance arena session. My body ached. Movement was a luxury in a world of holographic stages and physics-defying choreography. I rolled them once, and they glowed. The floor disappeared beneath me. I woke to burning oil and sandalwood. The neon skyline of New Athens was gone. Instead, I laid on sun-baked stone, staring up at an ancient temple, its white columns stretched toward an unfamiliar sky. A voice spoke in a language I shouldn't have understood. "Are you an offering to Apollo?" I turned my head and saw him. Eric's. He stood like a statue carved from war itself, bronze skin streaked with dust, a gladius strapped to his hip, eyes sharp as the blade at his side. His tunic clung to his body, muscles shifting with every movement. He stared at me, wary but intrigued, as if he had seen omens take human form before. "You have a name, strange man." "Raphael." The oracle called me an ill-omened wonder. Eric's was different. He didn't ask who I was, where I came from, or why I appeared in Delphi 300 BCE. He didn't look at me like an anomaly. He looked like he'd been waiting. "My death was foretold," he told me one night, firelight casting shadows over his jaw. But the oracle spoke of a dance beneath the full moon, one between two, that might save me. I scoffed. "And you think that's with me?" Eric's smirked. "You fell from the sky, did you not?" I did what I knew best. I danced. No VR, no floating arenas, just raw movement, bound by the human body's limitations. Eric's watched the first night. The second night, he joined me. He was not graceful. He didn't understand rhythm or balance, but he followed. His hands on my waist, his breath against my ear. He did not fear prophecy, but I felt his fear in the way he held me, like letting go would end the world. Maybe it would. The second time the dice rolled, it was a mistake. They shifted in my pocket as I turned in my sleep. When I woke, I was back in 2135, lying on the cold floor as if no time had passed, the dice beside me. New Athens hummed, its metallic skyline drowning Delphi's whispers. I was convinced it was a vivid dream. But weeks passed, and I couldn't shake him. I missed him. Deep down, I always knew my way back. I felt foolish, terrified, and exhilarated as I flung the dice across the room. They glowed the moment they rolled, and the world collapsed beneath me. The dice had their own rules. I spent months tracking patterns, symbols, and how they glowed. But they remained unpredictable, always pulling me where they wanted, never where I intended. I rolled the dice at every full moon. They took me back, but never to the same moment. Sometimes I found Eric's after battle, his blade dripping with the blood of men who did not heed prophecies. Other times I found him in the temple, kneeling before the oracle, speaking of fate like it was something he could outmaneuver. One night, he found me first. "I thought you were a dream," he admitted, forehead pressed to mine. I feared I had gone mad. I laughed, humourless. Maybe we both had. Then, for the first time, the dice took me away without a roll, stealing my chance at a confession. My time with him was always limited. That was the cost. I felt it in my core. The dice had set their own terms. The next full moon would be the last. The prophecy would be fulfilled. Now, in the temple courtyard, I face Eric's beneath the full moon, our silent witness. Will you honour me another dance? He asks, hand outstretched. I nod. We move, our bodies following an ancient rhythm neither of us should know, yet somehow we do. The air thrums with something unnatural, the fabric of time unravelling between us. The dice burn hot in my palm. One last roll. One final chance. Time won't steal him from me. This time, I'll bring him home. The dice tumble across the temple stones, their edges clicking against the worn marble. A gust of wind whips through the courtyard, stirring torches and sending flickering shadows dancing along the columns. The shift comes too fast. The magic grips the wrong soul. Eric's reaches for me. Raphael. And vanishes. So do the dice. Eric's 2135. Only the gods know how long I have wandered this strange land, Raphael's home. Observing, enduring. The agora roars like a battle cry, louder than Delphi's streets ever were. Light burns overhead, not from the sun or torches, but from flameless lanterns. People move through this world unbothered, their faces aglow with shifting symbols, like living prophecies. I walk unseen, Hermes among mortals, hand instinctively resting where my blade once lay. But I remain wary. These strange chariots without steeds, these voices that speak yet possess no lips. No warrior should trust such things. And then, among the relics of this strange world, I see something I understand. A pair of dice, worn smooth by time. At last, I have found them. These were Raphael's. A merchant grins. A fine relic, ancient and rare. Few know its worth. I stare. For the first time since waking in this impossible world, I feel something other than loss. Hope. I reach for the dice and roll. So, there we go. What a story. What a story. Victor got himself to the final four in that battle. Came very, very close to taking the whole thing in a hugely competitive genre. So, well done, Victor, and thank you for letting me read that one. I hope I did it justice. In keeping with our futuristic theme, we've got... I want to get this title right because I love it so much. How to Find Love After Your Boyfriend is Taken by the Rapture. And this is by R.L. Lynn. Now, Rebecca has done a great job here. It's very funny. It is exactly what you think it's going to be, and then times 1,000. It's just great. It's read by Melanie York. Thank you, Melanie, for reading this for us. I think you've done a superb job here. And the prompts for this one were dystopia, weather forecaster, and magnifying glass. Now, somehow, Rebecca's mind has leapt from those three seemingly not connected prompts to this story about post-Rapture dating, and it's a lot of fun. It's very, very well written, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. This is How to Find Love After Your Boyfriend is taken by The Rapture by R.L. Lynn, and that's read by Melanie York.
March 1st, 2165. Hello, faithful reader. It is I, Annie, your friendly weather gal, waving at you from sizzling Portland. Temperatures today will reach a balmy 112 with intermittent lightning storms. Slather on that SPF 200 and enjoy your weekend. Apologies for neglecting you guys these past 2 weeks. As some of you may know, my boyfriend, Nick, was raptured on Valentine's Day. He was just sitting there, shoveling eggs into his mouth, raving about the collective sin of mankind, when, bam! Sucked right through the floor, still gripping his fork and screaming bloody murder. Good people of Portland, I give you the Rapture, neither peaceful nor ascending, as it turns out. As I'm sure you can imagine, the incident left me quite rattled. However, I've had time to grieve and make my peace with it. Real talk? It's been nice having the house to myself. Nick could be a real damper Dan, and now I can watch my trashy TV in all its grotesque glory. Speaking of, how about that new Love Will Blind show? Apparently, anybody who doesn't say I do will actually be blinded. Gritty. Truth is, the nights can feel long when having to take pot shots at looters all by one's lonesome. So, I have therefore decided to venture forth into the dating pool again. Gotta make hay while the sun shines. Or, blisters with a fiery intensity. Updates forthcoming. March 8th, 2165. Dear devoted reader, today is cloudy with a chance of cicadas. Seriously, we're getting a cicada storm this afternoon. No, they aren't native to Portland, and yes, cicada is just a fancy term for roach. Fuck you, climate change. Better take a canopy outside today, folks. I have news! I just got home from my first post-rapture date. I give you Bachelor number 1. Name: Sean DeLorna. Occupation: State Representative. No, wait, cross that. Wannabe vigilante. Sign: Aries. Go figure. I was practically giddy about Sean at first. On paper, he seemed ideal. Cute, ambitious, and a big Dancing Through the Scars fan. However, I knew something was off as soon as he stomped into the restaurant. Knives strapped to both hips and machete slung over his shoulder. Just another stereotypical politician eager to cut through some red tape. I suppose I could appreciate this more if he hadn't brooded all through dinner before flipping our table in a panic when the waiters burst into happy birthday. During our romantic post-dinner walk, he kept trying to throw me over his shoulder. Hey, Tarzan? I'm a big girl. I know my way around a flooded road. Thank you very much. March 15th, 2165. Dear loyal reader, as if Roach-geddon wasn't bad enough, now there's rumblings from Mount Shasta. Ashfall with the occasional volcanic blast. If you need to go out, bob and weave. I have a doozy for you all today. Meet Bachelor number 2. Name: Jordan Morty. Occupation: Research participant. Cross that out. Who am I kidding? He's a zombie. Don't judge me. Sign: Used to be a Virgo. Okay, I know. It's a little unorthodox. Just hear me out. First of all, the whole zombie thing? Not Jordan's fault. How could he possibly know the government was attempting to create super soldiers? Poor guy was just trying to find a cure for his bunions. Should one unfortunate lapse in judgment forever preclude him from true love? Plus, his profile picture was hot. I mean, his skin was a little mottled, but still, dude was ripped. Sadly, he lied about his age. He'd been undead way longer than 3 weeks. Those bulging muscles from his photo? Yeah, less sexy when they're actually protruding through the skin. Conversation was a bit lopsided, and I did not appreciate it when he got fresh with me at the end of the night. Well, technically, I was the fresh one, but you get my drift. That was the nail in his coffin. I don't mind the occasional neck nibble, but I can't stand bad breath. March 25th, 2165. Dear attentive reader, just a light drizzle today. Acid level, mild sting. Time to bear those shoulders, ladies. Boy, I tell ya, I thought pickings were slim before the collapse of civilized society. Here's bachelor number 3. Name: Mickey Wiseman. Occupation: scientist. Wait, scratch that. Paranoid putz. Sign: wouldn't tell me his birthday. I should have known better than to go searching on a website called Find a Guy, the End is Nigh. But my self-esteem was shaken after the Jordan fiasco. Welcome to my rebound hell. Mickey spent the entirety of the date scouring our table for pathogens, a giant magnifying glass glued to his sweaty face. Apparently, I'd agreed to go out with the Eye of Sauron. A stray cicada crawled out of my jacket pocket, and he lit out of there faster than a mutating virus. Good riddance. May 17th, 2165. Dear obsessed reader, seriously, if you're still reading this, what the fuck? Log off already and find a bunker. Weather forecasts rendered obsolete due to missiles raining down from Idaho. This will probably be my last entry for a while. But I couldn't sign off without dishing on bachelor number 4. Name: Jack. Occupation: philosopher. Wait, scratch that. Writer? Wait, scratch that. Jack of all trades. Sign: Taurus. Established April 26th. Finally caved and went to build a boyfriend. All I'll say is this: don't knock it till you build it. Jack is perfect. Worldly, a superb listener, and possesses a love of M-dashes bordering on the pathological. His personality does run a touch bland, but he's attentive to my every need. Every need. New Squeeze and I are currently on the run from rabid Idahoans rebelling against the keto diet. Oh, and you guys remember Jordan? Well, turns out the bastard infected me with his contagion. So that's been an adjustment these past few weeks. Nothing major yet, but I'm pretty sure I swallowed a tooth yesterday. Not to worry, Jack insists he'll still love me even when I'm drooling and my skin sloughs off. You guys, he's a keeper. And the best part? He's rapture proof. XOXO, Annie.
I really enjoyed that story. Very, very funny. So many great lines. I love the throwaway references to things like Dancing with the Scars or Love Will Blind, an excellent skewering satire of that god-awful reality TV stuff we get these days. I know, I sound like I'm 95, but I'm only 91. But yes, excellent story from R.L. Lynn, and really, really well read by Melanie. I think she nails that relentlessly upbeat, desperate to sound like she's on top of things style. Yeah, very, very well done. I really enjoyed it. That story was from the Fear Battle earlier this year, and it picked up an honourable mention in the house stage. Loads and loads of judges really, really enjoying it. One of the many things I like about Writing Battle is that we get a variety of stories. We don't just get stories that are funny, we don't just get stories that are serious or have a twist in them or whatever. You do get a really, really good variety. And the more time you spend on the site, the greater variety of stories you're going to come across. So, thank you very much for joining us in this first ever episode of One More Short Story with me, Chris Fulwell. We'll look forward to seeing you again next time.